One of the more frustrating parts about keeping a nice looking lawn is dealing with dry spots. So if you look right here on this parkway strip, there's about 3 obvious dry spots that I have back there. Even though I run the sprinklers and I got good irrigation, those 3 dry spots have been there for months. Occasionally I come out and spot water to give extra water to the trio of spots back there. I could continue coming out here all the time, giving extra water to those spots out here just to keep the lawn looking uniform. But that's really annoying, especially when you have an in-ground irrigation system that's set up to go and keep everything watered uniformly. Today I want to present you with one of the simplest options to cure the dry spots, the constant, all the time dry spots that you have in your lawn. There's a number of ways that you can solve this problem, but I'm going to give you the easiest solution because I'm going to be doing it myself, and I don't want to spend any more time or energy on this project, on this repair, than is necessary. Just to be completely clear, we're talking about the spot right there, and right there. Right now, each one of those spots looks dark from far away. Let's get up close so you can kind of tell the difference up close. Let's start with this one. Next to the spot, we've got nice green coverage. This is buffalo grass, in case you're curious. But the dark spot doesn't look a whole lot different up close. But we can see more bare dirt and perhaps a little bit less green leaf than we have over here. Not a lot, but from far away you can tell the difference. Depending on how bad your problem is, it might be significantly worse than what I'm dealing with right here. The solution, however, is the same. Let's go take a look at the products that I have set up over there by my garage. One of the fanciest options to dealing with these dry spots is to use a product called Hydratane. Now, Hydratane comes in a granular. This is a liquid. So the liquid, I put it into my sprayer and I spray it into the soil, and it basically makes the soil retain water longer. It makes the moisture in the soil resist evaporative loss. This is fairly expensive though, so I'm going to call this optional. The other thing is to use liquid aeration, but I'm not going to use this liquid aeration. I'm just showing it for reference. This will work, but what I'm going to be doing is even better. I'm going to be doing liquid aeration. Now I have 2 different aeration products here. I'm going to be using this one here on the left, although this one would work just fine. The reason I'm not using it is because although it does contain humic acid, it does not contain seaweed or kelp extract. This product does. So this liquid aeration product is a mixture of this natural liquid aerator, which, to get all technical on you, is ammonium lauryl sulfate. There it is right there. Biodegradable ammonium laureth sulfate. That product right there, or that ingredient right there, is sometimes found in household soaps, shampoos, body washes, things like that. And the reason for that is because it is ionic, as opposed to something that many of us lawn care people are used to, non-ionic surfactants. Sometimes you'll see baby shampoo being used in the lawn as a water penetrant. Baby shampoo is also non-ionic. We want the ionic stuff because what that means is it's bringing a negative charge to the solution going into the soil. And with that negative charge, particles in the soil that may be poorly dissolved will be able to be dissolved, which of course means that if the water hits something and it can dissolve it, it will continue to move through it. Now, there's plenty of scientific research and studies out there that show that ionic solutions, ionic waters, ionic irrigation, right up there with like the ionic alkalized water that we drink from the grocery store. Ionic solutions help improve the nitrification process in the soil. So a lot of times these things are done in agricultural settings, or at least the studies are. Nitrification is basically the process of turning ammonium in the soil, transforming it into nitrates, which then the grass can use. So of course, if the grass, or any plant for that matter, has access to nitrates in the soil, the root system will take it up and it will grow better. It will grow better, it'll grow faster, it'll grow thicker. Not only does ionic solutions improve the nitrification process, but it also helps dissolve some of the salts that are in the soil, in those dry spots, and flush them through the soil profile out of the root zone. This is essentially leaching, but this is the kind of leaching that we want. In many cases, you're going to find a dry spot or a kind of a struggling, almost dead spot in the lawn might be caused by the actual soil structure. There might be undissolved salts in there that are preventing the grass from growing efficiently. Now here, this is one of the most common liquid aeration products out there. There's also many other brands that make liquid aeration products. What sets this apart is a brand spanking new product, by the way. Lawn Bright only released this product, I don't know, in the very end of summer 2024. What makes this one special compared to all of the other liquid aeration products that I've seen is not only is it using an ionic, negatively charged solution, but it's also including the humic acids, which of course you could just apply all by yourself. This is granular humic acid. So this is the kind of stuff that is in solution in both of these products. So Aerate here has 8% humic acid. Humic acid, once it's in the soil, allows grass and other root systems to uptake nutrients and moisture more efficiently. So if you do indeed have a low water spot, so some spot that your irrigation system doesn't get very well, then having extra humic acids in the soil is going to allow those grass plants, those roots, to absorb that water a little bit more effectively. Really hard to get these little rocks deep into the soil when you have grass growing there. And that's why we stick it into these solutions, these liquid products, to be able to spray. Look at this, I'm all messy now. To spray onto the lawn, and the volume of water going down pushes the humic acids down into the soil. What Aerate and many other liquid aeration products lack, however, is the kelp. And to get even more technical, it's the cytokinins that naturally occur in kelp. Cytokinins is a natural growth hormone. Every plant produces some element of cytokinins. Cytokinins basically tell a plant to start growing root mass. It's like a trigger. So the more cytokinins that go onto a plant, the more likely that plant is to put on a denser root mass. The reason that we use kelp is because of all plants in the world, kelp has the most concentrated amount of cytokinins and other sorts of growth hormones. North Atlantic sea kelp, like in the wild, can put on feet of growth every day, like daily. It's a really powerful hormone that doesn't really add any nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, but it does add the rooting stimulant that we want. So if grass is sitting in the lawn and it's struggling because it's not getting enough water, it's not getting enough nitrogen, potentially there's too many salts in the soil, adding kelp into the mix will help push that grass to put on a denser root mass so that it's got a stronger foundation to support the top growth above. Now, obviously, you could just core aerate your lawn and put granular humic acid into the holes. You could buy a bottle of ionic shampoo, or bare minimum, water your lawn with ionic water. And you could easily only apply seaweed extract or kelp extract to the lawn space. But in my opinion, all of these options are way harder and way more expensive collectively than just buying this. This one single product is going to do everything. It provides the ionic solution, the rooting compounds, the humic acid, which will improve the plant's ability to use what little water or the water that you're giving it to it. It's going to flush salts out of the system. And in my opinion, you don't need to buy gigantic jugs of this stuff like regular fertilizers, because typically you're only going to need this on the spaces of your lawn that are either extremely compact and hard, extremely hydrophobic, or just weak spots in your lawn. It's almost like spot repair. It's like spraying a single weed instead of spraying the whole lawn. This stuff, you just put a little bit into your sprayer. I'm just using a little hose-in sprayer here, little quick connect. I just put a little bit in there and then spot spray the struggling areas. That's all it takes. Now, of course, I already own Hydrotane, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of extra Hydrotane into the sprayer and spot spray with that as well. That right there is the extra step that's totally unnecessary, but it will supercharge the process of putting down a liquid aeration product on your weak spots, your dry spots in the lawn. Both of these products need to be watered deep into the soil after they're applied. That's how they work. Have to have this stuff going into the soil for it to affect the soil. So that makes putting it down with a hose and sprayer even more likely to be the best route, because you just put in exactly how much you need, and then once it applied, once you turn the hose on, it's going to spray everything onto that spot, and then it's just going to keep on spraying plain water right from the tap. Makes the whole process of spot repair super duper easy. So the whole bottle is supposed to cover 3,200 square feet. I'm not going to use the whole bottle. I'm not doing this on 3,200 square feet. I'm going to estimate that I'm only doing this on about maybe 200 square feet. So I'm really only going to be estimating a couple ounces of this product. At this point, because it's thick, I'm going to actually add water into this to thin it out a little bit. But I'm also going to put in the hydrogen. Will just supercharge the water holding capacity, the water holding ability of the water that's in the dirt in my dry spots. I should note here before I pour, hydrogen is non-ionic, which means it's not negatively charged or positively charged. The stuff that I just put in is negatively charged. So of course the water that's coming out of my tap is also not negatively charged. So on the whole, what I'm putting down is negatively charged, but it's nothing extreme. If I was putting this on an entire lawn, like 1,000 square foot, I'd be putting about 9 ounces down. But again, since I'm only going to be doing about 200 square feet, I'm going to put about, I don't know, what would that be? About 2 ounces, about the same amount. Total estimation, totally fine. This is pretty cool. If you don't have anything like this on your hose, I got this like super sweet swivel with valve, and now it doesn't spray. And then not only that, but I can just pop it off. There we go, water comes out of that. Well, that's it. And now I could plug that in there. Of course, first I got to do this. And then just plug it in. We're on with my valve. Now it's pressurized again. So anyway, I'm going to set this, since I'm only spot spraying, I'm going to set this up on the 8-ounce setting, so it's going to come out as fast as possible. And I'm just going to hit my little parkway strip area. Give it a good shake. Happy Halloween! It's not actually Halloween, it's still September. While I'm spraying this, I want you to see some of all that stuff in there. It looks almost sudsy, like soap. A little bit less of it here. Over here, everything is starting to go into the soil already. I, long ago, already finished the solution. There's nothing left in the bottle. You see it's still there on the ground, sudsing up. That's fancier than baby shampoo. This is one reason, this is another reason I should say, why it needs a lot of water. Once you put it down, all of that suds, all that stuff needs to get into the dirt. Lots of water. This is what we like to do without product. We're like, look at that dry spot. Let me just go grab the hose and spray it down. Spray it down with a hose, but it's temporary. It still dries out quicker than everything else. The whole point of using the product is so that you only do it just this one time. I don't want to be out here spot watering. I'm sure you don't either. All right, I'm going to spot water that a little bit more, maybe another couple minutes. I'll do that off camera. That's it. You do that, you come back a week later, so everything's going to look a little bit more vibrant. Go back to your normal irrigation patterns. Everything should blend in with everything else. Now, of course, if you've got a much more severe problem, you might need to throw down a little bit of grass seed on top of it to cover up bare dirt. You might even want to do a little bit of core aeration, sprinkle a little bit of biochar in there. That also helps retain moisture. But all that's for fodder for another video. Take a look at links in the description below. And if you'd like to learn a little bit more about watering your lawn more efficiently than ever before, then make sure to watch the video up here. This is all about watering better.